Hey, dude.
Yo, 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 what it be? What it do? How you doing? I
That
don't
guy you just riff.
you know.
Like,
Yeah, I was doing, who was it? One of my clients, we were talking, and she said something about having to do a speech on like a radio show. And I was like, oh, do you have a radio voice? She's like, what's a radio voice? I'm like, 97.4, come on down. And she's like, how do you do that? I'm like, I just do it. She's like, I don't know how to do that. I think she's 11, 12, something like that. And I'm like, it's super easy. You just go for it, you
yeah.
know. I just have that button I push and it goes.
So what
So
was the client? She 11-year-old on the radio?
they were doing a radio show for a science class or something, technology or
Oh, I
something.
see. Something for school. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm like, that's funny because like when I was your age, I used to have a little tape recorder and I would talk into it like I was a DJ,
Yeah.
like every other kid does.
Yeah.
I wish I could find those tapes. Like that would be really, really funny.
It is funny. So like I used to do a different podcast, years ago.
What? You
Yeah.
did a different podcast?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It was I think it was the first podcast that you came on as a guest. Remember my very first foray into the podcast world?
I do. I was fucking joking, but yeah, I remember.
So you were a guest, but it was before you came on as a guest. Um, Me and another friend of mine, we were in like junior high and all that. We were going to be rappers, and we had recorded. We took like an instrumental from somewhere. So I think we made instrumentals and all this. Anyways, we put together this whole thing, lyrics and all this, and recorded it. So there's this like tape that had this like us rapping, white rappers. We were empowered by Eminem and ICP, I think.
Yeah, of course.
And so we did this. So then, and that was years. And then years have gone by, and I start doing this podcast, and I have that guy on, and I was like, we were just talking about old times, and I kind of was knew where the conversation was going to go. So I kind of had this chambered. I had the tape already in the little tape deck player,
Yeah.
but I had it sitting down. It's kind of like one of those we're gonna just we're talking about it and oh, you remember we did that one song? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And then I reached down and I pulled the fucking tape deck and put it on the desk, and I'm like, get the microphone. I'm like, we're gonna play that right now. And I moved the mic right down to the thing and I hit play. And it would have been good to have the video of that, like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the you can just see like the face, like, nobody can see it, but they're hearing it, but not live either.
Right.
And well, you'd have to go back to like one of those first 5 or 8 episodes, and that's talked about and played. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like I have those tapes still. I have
Yeah.
like all the backyard wrestling VHS tapes that
Wow.
that you can't even watch if you don't have a VHS player. So I want to get those like digitized or something, put to DVD or YouTube or something like that. But yeah, so I do have a cassette tape. You probably do too somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe it got destroyed in a move or something. But
Yeah, I would say the only place it would have been my folks' house, and that no longer exists. So
yeah, and they probably wouldn't have moved that.
no, no. If they would have found it, I would have had it by now.
Yeah,
Found it.
and you
Because
would
we're
probably
talking.
know that you had it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that was a long time ago.
See, that's kind of stuff like most people, like when we were younger, we would do shit like that, and then it would just get lost in the mix, and you know, probably end up in a dump somewhere or whatever. And with me, like I don't know if I was like kind of the guy of my group in school, but everybody would give me the tapes, the wrestling tapes, the whatever. If they're like, you hang on to this, We might need this someday. And the weird thing is, I've still got it all these years later. I
Hmm.
have this shit. Like, the fuck do I don't need any of this stuff. Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
I had a friend that had, well, same guy. He had a box full of VHS porn. And he's like, my old lady's getting mad at me for having this. So I'm going to give you the box and hang on to it for me in case I need it. Guess who still has his box of VHS tapes just hanging on to for him?
You.
Me. I literally paid to move that shit from Illinois to where I'm at just so that I could keep my end of the bargain.
Well, I told you I'd take it back, so you didn't have to ship it. I would take it back.
I mean, if you, it's not you, but if you would like this stuff at this point, I'm ready to give it to somebody. Here's the
No,
thing. So
don't
my
do it.
wife has asked me, she's like, so why don't you just get rid of it? I was like, well, I can't throw it away because it's not my stuff to throw away. But she's like, well, then why don't you just sell it? And I was like, how do you sell like VHS porn? How do you sell magazines? Like I know you can sell the magazines through Amazon, but like how do you sell that and ensure that the person getting it is of age? Like that's the last thing I want is to have somebody
Well, the first thing you have to do is buy a trench coat,
ah
and then you put them all into the,
and then I
and
get
then you
open them
whip
up.
it out, and, and then check their ID to make sure that they're of age.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but for real, what do you do with this shit? Like, I feel like I need to reach out to that guy and be like, hey, do you want these? If not, I am going to throw them away because I'm not hanging on to your VHS porn anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would do. Reach out to him, see if he wants them. If he doesn't, then kick him to the curb.
And if he does, like, well, guess you're gonna have to come get them because I'm not shipping this shit back.
You can ship it back, but make his ass pay for it.
Yeah, that's true. But like, I highly doubt, like, because it's VHS, like that was back when he gave them to hang on to. It was VHS was still in. I mean, DVDs were around, but VHS was still kind of in. Now it's not, and it's probably never going to be.
Yeah,
So
it's not coming back.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you get rid of stuff like that though. Like, because if I just threw it away, somebody finds it.
Burn it.
I could.
Have a little bonfire. Toss them in the bonfire.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good stuff. I wish you had your old tapes. I'd like to hear it.
I'll look. I have one like tote that my mom gave me before they moved. I never really, 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 really went through it.
Yeah.
I'll run through it and see if I can find anything cool in it.
If you find it though, you're gonna have to find something that'll play a cassette tape though.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, because the other thing, I mean, I do have some really old stuff because I did go through a little bit of it and I found I should bring it. I have a shirt from 1987. The very first play I was in was Peter Pan, and I still have that shirt.
really?
Yeah.
Does it fit?
It fits my puppet, yeah.
Oh yeah, because when you were a little kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I was 8,
Yeah.
you know.
What do you mean puppet? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I have these puppets for like when kids want to reenact sex abuse and stuff. I
Oh God. You're like, oh, this is what happens. You don't want this to happen. Like,
Show me on the puppet where the bad man touched you. And then they always, I don't know why, but they always just come and touch me. It's very weird.
that
Very weird, you know.
is weird.
So
Funny.
and then they talk to the puppet. So it's weird. They think I'm the puppet, but that's the real thing.
Yeah.
It's very strange. So
Well, you probably because you go into the voice.
I do.
Hey, 94.7.
92.3 FM. We're here rocking out with Dave and Ryan on the Guys Who Still High Five TV show. We have a TV show now, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
So we
YouTube famous.
we would like to I would like to give you some words if you would like.
Okay. I guess I'll take some words. How about an adverb?
Ooh, not really. How about slightly?
And then two verbs.
Well, of course, we're gonna go with run and fornicate.
Okay. Um, Handful of adjectives.
All right.
There's four of them.
Let's go with purple.
Okay.
We have to go with racist,
Of
sexist,
course.
and then of course we got to go with sweaty.
A place.
Well, got to go with Florida.
Florida.
Yep.
Um,
Not to be confused with the rapper Florida, but
that's right. Plural noun.
plural noun. Squirrels.
Okay. Now a bunch of noun.
Single noun.
Like
All right.
six of them.
All right. Let's go with hammer, not MC. Uh, the Presidente. Uh,
Presidente.
yeah, the Presidente. Captain Hook. Beer bong. Beer belly.
Wait, hang on. Think we might be good. Beer belly. Let me look. I think we're good. No, one more.
One more noun.
Yep.
Dildo.
Nice. Okay. This one is called Patriotic Songs Part One.
Oh, okay.
This is from the Cracker Barrel Mad Lib book still. We'll
All
just
right.
keep hammering through it. All right, here we go. There are tons of sweaty songs that are perfect to listen to on the 4th of Presidente or any day you want to get into a patriotic mood. Here's a list of the most purple, complete with lyrics. The most purple. That weird. Okay. The Star-Spangled Beer Belly. Oh, oh, say can you fornicate by the dawn's sexist light? What so slightly we hailed at the beer bong's last gleaming. Maybe I should have sang that.
Yeah,
If
I
only
think
we could have a doctor. Remember we did this before?
yeah,
Who was from another dimension.
yeah, yeah,
Sing that.
yeah. Well, it'd be great, but no thanks at the same
All
time.
right, here's the next one. Yankee Doodle. Yankee Doodle, keep it up. Yankee Doodle racist. Mind the music and the hammer, and with the squirrels be handy. Okay. God bless America. God bless Florida. Captain Hook that I love. Run beside her and guide her through the night with a dildo from above. Oh, there's some really good ones in this.
Yeah.
I like the Star Spangled Beer Belly. I like the Yankee Doodle Racist and Through the Night with a Dildo from Above.
Yeah.
There's some good ones in there.
From
Yeah.
above.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, that's where you get the duel from above. Yeah. Gotta make sure you get that right.
Good old Elon Musk.
Yes.
All right.
Salute el presidente.
Well, next episode we'll do patriotic songs part two.
Oh yeah.
So there's a
Little teaser.
little teaser for the next episode,
And
as
I'll forget
Dr. Dre
by the
would
time
say.
we do it. Yeah.
All right, so we should jump into a Dear Dave, eh?
Yay. What are you in Canada now?
Yeah, eh?
Yay.
All right.
Fornicate, eh?
Speaking of fornicate,
Yes.
so this one's a little bit longer of an email. Um, and it's a pretty fucked up situation.
All right.
So let me read this to you. It's like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven mini paragraphs. So
Jeez.
let me get through the whole thing and we're gonna have to unpack the shit out of this one,
Yeah,
okay?
let me get some popcorn and get a popcorn and a blanket.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here's the subject line. Um, my dad, 40 male, got his girlfriend, 34 female, pregnant overseas, and I feel hurt by it and how do I approach the situation?
Yeah.
Okay, that's subject line. Here's your meat of the letter.
Hold on, real quick. The dad is 40, the girlfriend's 34.
Yes.
Okay, 6 years. All right, got it. Go.
Okay. My dad said to me, this is a 21 male who's writing this um, letter.
Okay.
My dad said to me, he got his girlfriend over. Let's see, it's just kind of repeating here. Um, it's not clear how it's written. Give me a second to like. The dad told the kid, the 21-year-old, not a kid, but 21-year-old, that he got his girlfriend pregnant. They've been seeing each other since July of last year. Um, and this is written really poorly.
You sure he's 21 and not 12?
It says 21 male. I'm trying to understand, like, once again, no punctuation, so it's making it very difficult to like, and I also don't want to give away names, so I'm trying to, um, let me pre-read this one here, just a second. Okay, I'm gonna skip the first paragraph. It doesn't pertain to much of anything.
Okay.
And it's kind of it almost confusing. So let's start here and hopefully it gets a little better. For some backstory on why I am so hurt. Throughout my life, my mom and dad split up when I was very young, and I never got to live with my dad due to my dad having drug abuse for a little bit of my childhood. Yes, this is not written very well. And all teenagehood. But during the teenagehood, there's different ways to write this.
Yeah.
But let's not dig into the horrible grammar. When he was during the teenagehood, when he was clean, I visited him, so he was there most of it during that time, but not all of it. And I have gotten a half brother and a half sister with different dads. But the thing is, he never raised me properly. All my mom did the work. There's definitely something off here. I'm having a really hard time
Yeah, I'm having a hard
understanding
time following.
because of the grammar here. There were months of gaps in between me not contacting him and during the time he was clean for a couple months. But when 2017 to 2022, he was on and off the drugs. I stopped speaking to him for almost a year due to me not wanting to deal with that anymore because he breaks his promises a lot when I was growing up, and it made me distrust him. Last year, when he was clean midway through 2023 and he stopped taking drugs, and dad and I started to repair our relationship. And during midway 2024, he said we should live together. And I was all for it because I wanted a different place to live and live closer to the city with my dad. Then he met his girlfriend online in the UK and he said he might be moving to the UK. Then he said if it doesn't work out, he'll come back so that him and I can live together, and he doesn't want a second kid due to his age. Then in October, he said that he's moving to the UK officially in November, and I didn't believe him, but he actually moved. So for my birthday, he was living in the UK, but still wished me a happy birthday. But then he said that he'll come back in 6 months, so I believed him. So current day, last night he told me that he got his girlfriend pregnant and said to me that he won't be coming back to live in America since he will be getting a spouse visa and won't be coming back to live in America. And he said, I'm hurt by it. And I'm so confused. And I did. Then he said that you're 21 years of age. I raised you up and you're a grown man, so you don't need me over there. And he said also that he'll still keep in contact and FaceTime every day and he'll visit America to see me. Now I'm just hurt by it because he's now never coming back to live and I won't be able to live with him. And I just feel like there's a there's hole inside of me that hasn't been fulfilled. And I just felt like my hopes went up for no reason. I don't know how to approach this situation.
Okay.
Well, a 21-year-old needs to do better grammar. Let's
Yeah.
start there.
So
Holy shit.
basically, bottom line is dad was a piece of shit. Dad was in and out of his life because he did drugs a lot, quit the drugs, got back together. They reconnected. Dad then met UK chick. Dad's like, I'm moving to the UK. If it don't work out, I'll come back. Now he's like, no, I'm not coming back because I got a kid now. So deuces, basically, right?
Well, she's pregnant. I don't think the kid's been born yet.
Oh,
So,
no, no. But yeah, but he's gonna have a kid now. So, okay. So first things first, and I'm trying not to be a dick because it was very, 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 very brutal to listen to that. Um, First off, you're 21 years old, dude. Yeah, I know that you're barely an adult, but you are. Okay. You don't need your dad. You don't, as far as you don't need him there in your life every single day. You don't need to live with your dad. You're 21. Um, Now the cool thing about him being in UK is you've got a place to go visit. Like think of the positives. Yeah, it sucks that you're 21 and you're gonna have a new baby in your life, which might be when you're 22. I don't know, depending on ages and all that stuff. But I mean, and now it's time for you to live your own life. Focus on you. Like, did you want to have a relationship with him? Absolutely. But you know what? I've got a really good relationship with my dad, and he lives in Florida. You know what I mean? Like I don't fucking see him every single day. I don't talk to him every single day, but we've got a good relationship still. Granted, he's not in another country, but you don't have to live with them to have a good relationship.
right.
Um, so I would say get over the fact that he's never coming back because he will come back eventually, and especially depending on how the world goes, maybe look at outsiders out of the country and everyone you can only live in the country that you were born in. I don't know, like who knows what's going to happen. But I think realistically, you should probably see a counselor to talk about your daddy issues, as far as learning to process the fact that daddy never loved you enough. And when he did finally love you, he ran out again.
Yeah.
But ultimately, yeah, I think your best bet is kind of let him go. And he's always going to be your dad, but he lives in another country now. No big deal,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I'd like to help here, but there's really nothing else that can be said. It's
Yeah,
I don't yeah, you really just I don't know. It's not like you can't travel back and forth. I mean, it is expensive and I mean, you do have FaceTime.
absolutely.
That he did say that the dad said he was going to do that like every
Every
day.
day.
But I mean, did you talk to your dad every day when he was living in America? I mean,
Right.
you can do it once a week. every other day. I mean, I wouldn't hold him to it. And let's be honest, you are an adult, 21, and he's started a new life over there with somebody else. So not that you're not part of that life, but you're an adult.
Right.
Um,
Let's reverse the subject. Let's say the 21-year-old found a woman in the UK. Do you think he's going to tell his dad he's got to move with him to come with him?
right.
Like, no, he would have gone to go live with him too. Like he would have done the same exact thing if the roles were reversed.
Yeah. We're all living our own lives. And at 21, like I get there's probably those I really think that there's that that time between what was it, 2017 and 2022 when he was in and out of drugs and all this, the dad, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe there's like a not PTSD, but like there's some uh thoughts of like, well, why didn't like he didn't get everything out of the relationship that he wanted. So he's feeling like he says, like he's got a hole inside of him that just can't be filled or whatever because he was going to live with his dad and so it's almost like it maybe seems like he's feels hurt by the fact that his dad said, "Oh, we're going to live together," and then by the way, we're not living together. I'm going to go move over here, almost like a betrayal. And there could have been some of that betrayal or whatever when the dad was doing drugs and kind of in and out of his life, like when he was off and on his benders, maybe he would pop in and be a good dad for 2 days and then go on another bender. I don't
Yeah.
know, but whatever. To be honest with you, I mean, the dad met this girl online, went there and got this girl pregnant. Probably not gonna last,
Yeah,
if I
odds
had
are
to guess.
she might have been pregnant already and she just, baby trapped his ass.
Who knows? I mean,
And he's gonna
let's
come out and he's gonna be like Asian and completely different than what he is.
yeah, and then dad'll be back pretty quick after that.
Yeah.
And what's to say? Like maybe this will work out. Maybe it's a match made in heaven. But most of the time, I would say, at least in my experience of seeing people, uh, these people that meet online, it tends to not last very long because there's something about the whole illusion of it's kind of like the girls or the women that like to have the uh, guy that's in prison,
Yeah.
like to write that guy. It's the fantasy of it all, but as soon as reality kicks in, meaning that guy's going to get out of prison, and now you have to deal with that person on a daily basis rather than through a letter and a phone conversation, which is very disconnected, but and it gives you that space. But like once they have that right there, you don't want it anymore. You realize that, hey, this is a piece of shit. And I know I kind of took a journey on this explanation, but like
Odds are.
there's there's something weird about the women that are into guys in prison and like to correspond with them. But then when that guy gets out of prison and beats the shit out of that one, then they're confused. And it's like, why were you ever corresponding with this person in the first place? Like, what's the fantasy there? You know what I mean? And I guess to relate it back to this,
Yeah, how you do that?
well, because like this dad met this girl online, like, you know, I don't know. Right now, I guess what I'm saying is right now, everything's whatever. Oh, you're pregnant and we're excited for this baby. And then when reality sets in and things get tough, dad's an off and on drug addict.
Yep.
He's probably going to turn back to it at some point. And just generalizing here, I'm assuming the woman's probably going to be like fucking pissed off because now she's stuck with this baby and this guy's off doing drugs or whatever. This isn't going to work. I mean, unless dad's turned over a whole new leaf and he's never going to go back to drugs. But let's be honest, it's probably not the case. So
Hmm.
this guy's coming back to America eventually.
Oh
It's
yeah,
probably
and
not going to be
he may
within,
bring her back too. He may move them home. Who
yeah,
knows?
what's to say that they're going to stay over there? And
Right.
then, but at the same time, I think the person writing this letter needs to kind of, like you said, get a counselor and deal with those things with the dad, those issues that they're struggling with. Why
Mhm.
is there a void in their inside them when, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can figure that out and let dad live his life while you can still maintain a relationship with him. You are an
Right.
adult. Why don't you focus on you? You know?
That's the important thing, man. You know.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Well, it's funny you bring that, talking about like women in prisoners. Did you see that documentary on, I think it was Hulu? One of the jailers fell in love with a fucking mass murderer and helped him escape.
oh, the lady that was um, yeah, she was like a correctional officer.
Yeah. Yeah, she was having sex with him in the fucking jail and stuff.
Yeah. It was very much a Orange is the New Black and porn stash situation.
Yeah, I
Except,
didn't.
yeah, she helped this guy escape,
Yeah, but I
and then they
think
both got caught.
did they? I thought she died. Maybe I'm mixing them
She
up. I
died? I thought they both got caught and were in prison.
maybe I haven't finished it, so maybe I was thinking of something different. But yeah, I haven't finished it yet.
What's it called?
I don't remember. It's on Hulu though. Here, let
Interesting.
me look it up real quick.
Here, I was gonna say I can pull up the IMDb, but yeah, you'd have to look up what it's called so we can. Is it a so it's like a documentary, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
Is that what you've been watching? Is that what we're into now?
uh, no, it's not. It's one that I was watching. Was it Jailbreak Love on the Run?
Mm.
I think it is. Yeah, Jailbreak Love on the Run.
Yeah, yeah. That lady looks familiar. Yeah, that's who I was talking about.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I was wrong, not Hulu.
Let me get ahead and share the screen. All right,
Yeah,
you should
that's
see it.
yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of when you started talking about it.
Jailbreak Love on the Run.
Yeah,
A highly respected corrections officer aids the escape of a violent felon nearly 20 years her junior. It reveals an unexpected love story amidst the ensuing high-profile manhunt and media frenzy. Joy Behar must play her.
yeah. I don't know, but yeah, it's interesting.
What
He's a fucking weirdo.
yeah. What was he in prison for?
Murder.
Yeah, violent
I,
felon.
yeah, I think it was sex assault and murder, if I
Jeez.
remember correctly. But yeah, she was fucking having phone sex with him and fucking him in the fucking jail and shit, and then just walked out with him and never. Like I said, I haven't finished it, so obviously if they got caught, they got caught. But
Yeah.
I gotta finish that tonight because
I
yeah,
thought they got
yeah, there's
oh yeah,
their
she was like gonna transport him, but then they just
yeah,
took off. I'm
yep,
pretty sure they got caught, but maybe they did in now that you say that, it seems like maybe they were like um they she got shot at like a hotel where they were like holed up at, and then but he ended up going back to jail or something like that.
yeah. Because I thought a lot of them kept talking about her in the past tense.
Yeah, because yeah, I remember this. They got in an accident. That's what it was. And she I want to say she got shot though. So too, like it was like they considered them both armed and dangerous. There
Yeah.
was like a police chase or something, and it seems like I remember this story when it happened live or was happening live, and I'm gonna have to watch it because I'm curious about this now.
Yeah. So, but you would, it reminded me of that when you were talking about women that, and it is, there's a huge fucking thing where women love to, I think the appeal to me now, I haven't talked to anyone that's done it, but I think the appeal to me is that he's in prisons, so it's not like he's going to go out and cheat on you with with your best friend,
Yeah.
and then he, you have this nice relationship because he ain't got shit to do but jerk off and fuck guys in the shower. So, yeah, of course he's going to talk to you and tell you what you want to hear because he's a con man. He's going to use and abuse you and for what he needs.
Well, and that
And then you
also
get out.
is it's a time passer for him.
Yeah.
And that's it's like a false fake fantasy though for the
Mhm.
women that write these guys in jail. Like I don't get, I guess I really don't understand that. Um it's like they're living in a fantasy world of they want a correspondence type of relationship where they're getting that they have a guy who's writing, oh, I love you and you make they're hearing all this good stuff. You know what I mean? It makes them feel good,
Right.
but they also it's like that they know the reality is like they don't actually want well, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but like
I
it's
wrote
weird. It's a weird thing
I
to
wrote one prisoner a letter and I haven't heard back yet.
like in real life.
Yeah, I wrote Jeffrey Dahmer a letter and never heard back from
I don't believe you.
him. No, but I was going to write Epstein, but
But then he killed himself.
I don't know where he's actually at, so I can't send it.
Speaking of Epstein, I guess that's kind of in the news. Maybe we should talk about that, which kind of will lead into our conspiracy corner.
Sure.
Um, let me pull up. Let's see here.
Pull up your internet.
All right. Well, okay, so let's kind of recap what happened this week in the news.
Yeah, go ahead, because
Um,
I don't pay attention anymore.
yeah. So the Attorney General said like last week or week before, I've got all the Epstein files on my desk. I'm going to review them and then we're going to release them to the public because, this is something Trump ran on. We're going to
Yep.
release all these files. You got Cash Patel as the FBI director, yada, yada, yada. So then I forget what day it was exactly, but let's just say Tuesday. Um, they have all these like right wing influencers, like, whatever, at the White House, and they hand them each a binder that, on the cover of the binder, it says The Epstein Files Part One. And then, but then, like, you don't hear, like, so, like, they're doing this release, but through the right wing influencers, right? But
Yep.
then you don't hear anything from any of these influencers about, like, well, what's in it? Well, then, so people were starting to, like, question, like, well, this was your way to like disseminate this information, but yet we're not hearing from them like what's in this shit. So then people started speculating, oh, it must be, you know, uh, it's bullshit or whatever. So then it started leaking pictures from this binder. Somebody was taking pictures inside the binder and like posting it, and it's all redacted. And they're saying like, um, well, it's redacted because we want to protect the victims. So people are like, well, this was all bullshit. You guys said you're the most transparent administration, and then you fucking do this shit, and it's like all redacted. And then people started realizing all these redacted pages were already online like years ago, not redacted, and it's publicly accessed information, like accessible information. You can go look this shit up, and it's all this stuff that they put in this binder had already been released for public consumption, unredacted. So all those flight logs, remember,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh, the names on the or the initials that were all on the flight logs,
yeah.
all that stuff, and is what they released in this binder. But most of it was redacted, but it's all been released unredacted before. So this was almost like a whole like what the fuck. Then like the like day or two afterwards, the attorney general sends a letter to Kash Patel, who's the director of the FBI, and says, "Hey, um, your guys, your FBI has all these like Epstein things, the files and recordings and all this stuff, and I requested all this to be on my desk, and they haven't like done it. So I need you to figure out where this shit is, get it to me, and then what you're going to do to the FBI people that blocked this, and like what you're how you're going to handle that situation or whatever." So basically, you've got people within the FBI that are covering up, or not covering up, but like block, yeah, the attorney general requested this, we're not going to do it.
Right,
Well, you don't have that authority. You know what I mean? Like, as a whatever level FBI
right,
person this
yeah.
is. Um, and then so it's kind of then people were starting to say, well, you said online, Attorney General, last week or whatever that you had all this shit on your desk, and you don't. So you lied about that because now you're sending this letter saying you want all this information or all this stuff that they're just blocking, and it's so it really is making the kind of this whole administration right now look foolish. You
Right.
disseminate through right-wing influencers rather than like a mainstream news source or something like that, which I understand why they would do that, but you're redacting already public information, which doesn't make any sense. You would have been better off just not releasing anything. And
Right.
now there's they're saying like, so I still haven't heard that anything got delivered to the attorney general. Oh, and then a whistleblower came out from the FBI saying that there's people within the FBI destroying stuff from the Epstein files. It's like, okay, well, who's fucking paying these people to destroy this stuff? Like, you have to assume it's somebody like, I don't know, somebody like a Bill Gates, somebody like a Hillary Clinton,
Yeah,
somebody that there's somebody that's on these in these files that is paying to have stuff destroyed.
yeah.
Because I don't think just some random, you know, Joe is going to be like, well, I'm going to destroy this stuff because, you're
My
definitely,
civic duty, you know?
yeah, you're risking getting fired. But then I've also heard that this whole thing with the release and the binder and the right wing influencers and all this was a ploy to get whoever at the FBI to basically expose themselves for blocking or whatever. And this was like, this whole the whole Q thing. Oh,
Yeah.
this was an operation to get them to expose themselves as whatever. So now they can go after this person and whatever. But it's like, okay, well, ultimately what it boils down to is people don't here's the thing. Nobody gives a shit who's on the list. We already know who's on the fucking list.
Okay.
We already know who's been to the fucking island, who's been to all his properties. We know all that. What we
Multiple
want to
times.
see is those people in handcuffs being arrested.
Yep.
And we want to see them then go to a trial. And let's then have all that evidence brought out and whatever. But this is what concerns me is that Anything that's really truly damning has already been destroyed. So you can't arrest somebody on a fact that they were on a flight log. That doesn't make it like it's not illegal to have been on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein and went to his island.
Right.
It's what happened on the island. It's the transaction. And here's the other thing is I understand what Epstein's operation was. It was to basically get rich people, influential people, presidents, actors, politicians, whatever, in situations that they could then be blackmailed, right? That was the operation.
Yep.
The it's the whole thing where it's been recorded and all this stuff, like videotaped and like it's kind of a I just have a feeling all that shit's been destroyed.
Yeah, I agree.
So how then do you prosecute somebody for having been there? Oh, because there's a notepad that says Tom Hanks got a massage from Julie. Well, now you have to tie Julie to, say, a list of underage girls that were there, and let's say you did that. Now, while it may, like, we may sit there and say, well, yeah, what the fuck's he getting a massage from a 14-year-old for?
Right.
Because let's be honest, that's wildly inappropriate in any way, shape, or form. But because it's written down on a notepad, does that make it true? Because I could take this notepad right here and write down the same thing. It doesn't make it true. You
Right.
have to have the evidence that of that massage and that then turned into a tuggy or something like that that makes it now prosecutable, right?
Right.
So, what ultimately this is just this is what it feels like. A one giant like rope a dope. Like
Yeah, it's like a giant shell game, really.
we're trying to pretend like, oh, we're going to release all this stuff, but really there's nothing to release. And ultimately we're going to find out that everything got destroyed in the FBI and we can't even figure out who did it. And you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you guys promised all this shit. You made these promises. Oh, we're going to release everything. We're going to do this without like guaranteeing that you're able to actually do that.
Right.
And here's
Well,
the other thing. Let's say you did get the recordings. Are you really going to release, say, a really well-known president fucking a 14-year-old? No, you're not going to release that. I mean, so what would you release then to us as
well,
the
that's the thing. That's what I was gonna say is that even if they had it, they can't release it because it's illegal to have.
yeah, you can't. So, but then like
Child porn,
I, and I just don't understand. Like it's frustrating because you so bad want something to happen, but at the same time, like it really kind of puts you in like a man, I feel like they're in over their heads. It don't, and I hate saying that because I got high hopes that this administration will get shit done, but like the executive order going with the JFK files, we're releasing everything. Well, fuck, he got inaugurated in January and we're in March.
hmm
Where's these files? Where's
Right.
the rest of the stuff? I haven't seen any of it. Well, what the fuck is taking so long? You literally put an executive order that said we're releasing everything that's left of the stuff. Like there isn't going to be anything that's going to be redacted or whatever. Well, where is it?
Right.
All this stuff, all these executive orders. To me, an executive order is just a bunch of bullshit now. It's almost like, hey, yep, I'm doing this thing, right? And it's starting to feel like all the other administrations. And maybe there is a process that has to be gone through in order to do this dissemination of information, but it sure doesn't feel like it. It has you know what it feels like is the whole Q thing,
Yeah.
where it's just a bunch of false promises to give you false sense of hope and all this stuff. And ultimately, nothing ever fucking happens. And it's really frustrating because I guarantee you a lot of people elected Trump a second time not just to fix the economy, not just to, whatever, but they want people that were fucking around with Epstein to get arrested. They want this shit, except I have this feeling it's never going to happen.
Right.
Or if you, and I guess let's go a different route. Let's say they're just ramping up. They're kind of dangling. They're getting all their ducks in a row or whatever. And you would almost have to do this in a mass arrest situation because if you arrest, say, one celebrity, the rest know that they're coming for them. So they're
Right.
going to disappear. So you'd
Right.
almost have to get people in position to do all the arrests all at the same time.
Right.
It's the only way you could do it and guarantee you're going to get most of them. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but they're not. I just don't even see even that coming. Like, but the problem is we got to trust the plan. Trust the plan. The storm's
that's
coming.
that's the
You know.
thing. It's kind of like I mean, it's the same way as it's religion. Well, you got to have that faith. I
Mhm.
mean, okay, but at a certain point, I'm not convinced Q is real, and I'm not convinced there is a plan. You know what I
Right.
mean? Hate to be a doubting Thomas here to reference religion, but I kind of am getting to that point because we did 4 years with the nonsense of Q to all just be left dangling. But what's
Right.
weird about the Q thing is now, if you go back and look, there's stuff that was posted back then that aligns with what's happening now with the dates. And it's kind of like, is this ironic coincidence or is there something to it? It's really weird. Like, I don't know. I really don't know.
And it's hard to say because if you it's like the number 23. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So if I start looking at a lot of the Q stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, this fits in today's, but it's just my interpretation and my perception of what it's saying.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big thing about he's having something tomorrow. Trump's doing something tomorrow. Um, and it's supposed to like March 4th was the last time a president got sworn in. That's when the inauguration used to be was March 4th, back when it was a country and not a company. So they're saying that Trump's going to do that tomorrow. There's a bunch of stuff that's supposed to come out tomorrow.
Well, there's also, I've heard that we're no longer the company, that he's taken us out of being a company and now we're back to being a country.
Yeah,
I've heard that, dude, I've heard all kinds of stuff. And at this point, I'm not sure what to believe and what not to believe when it
right,
comes to this whole thing. I guess this is my problem is if you're writing an executive order that says we're releasing all the JFK files, give us a timeline. By X date, all of this shit will be out.
right.
Because here's the thing, in my opinion, you don't need to go through any of it anymore. You've already said you're releasing everything, unredacted. So there's no reason to go through anything to see, well, do we need to redact it? It doesn't matter. It's fucking that happened how many years ago?
Yeah,
We don't need to redact anything anymore. What, 50 years? Over 50 years ago.
yeah,
52 years ago, I think is what it is.
yeah.
Whether if someone's alive, of course the CIA still exists. It's going to exist. If it implicates the CIA, we already know that. Who
Especially
gives
the
a
new
shit?
video,
Most
especially
of
the
the
new video that's out. Showing the driver.
Yeah, and that's pretty fucking interesting. Uh,
Mhm.
the only thing that concerns me about that video is that video came out when AI started becoming really popular. And I'm not saying it is, but I have to put that in there as like a could this be AI where the driver literally turns and you see what looks to be a gun and then his fucking head explodes. It's like, is that exactly what it was? Is it not? And then like I know we've talked about JFK assassination like, till we're
Oh, yeah, most
blue in the
definitely.
fucking face.
Mhm.
We've both been there,
Mhm.
to see the location. I mean, I can tell you one thing about JFK, and that's that Lee Harvey Oswald did not get a shot off that day. I don't even think he was holding the gun where they say he was holding it. I don't think he had the gun there. I think all that was bullshit, and he was a patsy. and which is what he said right before he was murdered.
Yep.
So somebody, multiple people, killed JFK. There was multiple
Yeah.
shots coming from multiple locations. Was it the driver? It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, and that's the thing. Because there's so much shit. Like at one point, fucking Jackie did it. One
Yeah.
point, fucking the driver did it. Fucking Lee Harvey Oswald did it. The fucking babushka lady did it. The fucking guy on the bridge did it. The grassy knoll. Like,
George H.W. did it. Like,
yeah, Pee Wee Herman was there. He did it. Like, I mean, there's just so many. You know what I mean? That's what his big adventure actually was all about.
yeah.
But I mean, the problem is there's so much misinformation because they don't want us to know. Regardless of what Trump says, we're never going to find out the truth.
That's what it's beginning to feel like. Like, but going into this, you're thinking, man, he's gonna do it. He's gonna fucking release it all. I mean, he's got the Robert Kennedy, who's related, like he's doing the whole health thing and all this shit, and he's gonna release it for him, and all this whatever. And it's like, well, where is it? Like, what's? I mean, I think I don't want to come across as being impatient here, but like you did the executive order, but what does the executive order really do? Because what I'm seeing is you've written all these executive orders. I mean, Christ, Biden did a bunch of executive orders, but it doesn't ever seem like those really mean anything. It's
Right.
like, so then what fucking power do you have? You're basically saying, yeah, I can do this thing. It's for public fucking, it's a PR stunt, but the executive order really doesn't do anything.
Right.
So, I'm writing an executive order as the executive of the Guys Who Still High Five podcast. I'm writing this executive order that Dave will no longer wear an Irish hat. And then I put that over here and everybody claps. And then, no, what you're supposed to do is leave the hat on because it doesn't mean shit.
I
My
know that.
executive order. You know what I mean?
I know. I did it to make a joke, but yes.
Yeah. But like it's because like I was like, yeah, Dave's not gonna remove the hat. Then you go remove the fucking hat. Like it's
Because
like
I was kind of implementing that people think when they do an executive order, it happens right then. Like it's in
right.
fact, it has to happen right
Well,
now.
it's
And it doesn't.
supposed to.
It
It's
doesn't.
supposed to happen like that. But what I'm seeing is that these executive orders don't mean shit. Like there's ones that Biden did that as soon as Trump got in, he said, we're overturning this whole thing and we're doing an executive order that overrules that. So then, but then what's happening? Like, I don't understand. If you're releasing everything unredacted, then why did then you release the Epstein shit that's already been released, but then redact it?
Right.
Well, we're trying to protect the victims, but all this has already been released unredacted. So the whole thing doesn't make sense, and I don't
Yeah.
understand this whole well now we've got them, we've got the we knew the people in the FBI were blocking stuff, so now we've got them. Okay, well if they've deleted stuff and bleached bit their shit, how do you have this shit backed up? Or is the whole point to give them time to remove everything that would actually be damning? So then when you do get the rest of the FBI stuff, you go through it and it's really not going to be anything that's prosecutable. So we'll all just get to sit here and it'll just be, well, I know Tom Hanks did something, but did he? Because we can't fucking prove it. It's just kind of like the whole thing with Clinton body count.
Yeah.
We can all sit here and say, she's the main common denominator between these fucking 80 people's deaths. All 80 of these people had dirt on the Clintons, and they all mysteriously get murdered or die or suicide or whatever. And she's the only common denominator here. So, she's behind it, either ordering it done or doing it herself. But without video proof, we can't prove any of it. And she'll just be out there as a fucking serial killer, essentially.
Right.
And then you've got other people saying, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Hillary wouldn't do any of that." Yada yada yada. It's like, okay, but why does every person that comes out and says they've got information that will take down the Clinton thing and they're gonna go testify in court, and then all of a sudden they wrap themselves up in a fucking carpet, take themselves out to the woods and shoot themselves in the head twice, which seems completely logical.
Yeah, and there's no
It's
gun too, by the way.
it's fucking
Yeah.
laughable, and it's like, okay, but yet we're gonna rule that too, then a suicide.
Mhm.
It's fucking ridiculous that you would even say this. So then you have to, what you should be doing is doing an investigation and say, well, clearly that's not a suicide because if you're wrapped up in a rug, you're not going to be able to shoot yourself in the fucking head twice.
Right.
And there's multiple people that have shot themselves twice that we're gonna go testify against them in court, which would have sent both of them to fucking jail.
Yeah, and ironically, the ones that have shot themselves twice are the only ones that I know of that have had guns misfire and double shot. Come
Yeah,
on. That's
yeah.
what
Because
that's
oh,
what we're
that
saying.
happens all the time.
Yeah, I've always seen people do that. No, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
They just try and spin everything and people buy it, and that's the problem.
Well, here's the thing. How do you then go after? Because there's people that have been convicted on the conspiracy to murder. You know what I mean? Like if you and I were sitting here talking about, all right, so I'm gonna do this part and I'll have the getaway car and you're gonna go do this or whatever, and then it happens, I would still go to jail because I'm sitting here, I'm in on this with you. I'm part of the conspiracy. But the main thing is you'd have to fucking investigate it as and figure out like, okay, so yeah, he didn't do anything. He's not even really an accessory. All he did was drive the car, but he kind of knew what was happening. You know what I mean? Or like we went and hired a driver. So we were going to go commit this crime. We hired a driver. The driver doesn't know. But then when they see us come running out of the bank with all this fucking money and get in the car, but they still drove away, they know we just robbed this bank. I mean, it doesn't take you being a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist to figure this shit out. So
Right.
you are now part of this conspiracy or this robbery, right? Well, that person still goes to jail for something. Might be a reduced charge. So what I don't understand is why is there not even a fucking investigation? We're just going to rule it a suicide when clearly it couldn't be a suicide. And you know what I mean? It's fucking stupid. And so why don't they like how do you ever prosecute Hillary for being just part of the conspiracy to, or even Bill? I mean,
Unless you
they
actually,
just have their fucking guardian angel just gets rid of everybody that might put them in fucking jail, and these are the most innocent people ever. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit.
yeah,
There's no fucking way.
the only way that they'll see any light of getting in trouble is if they fuck up somewhere.
And I don't foresee that.
Someone doesn't come out publicly to that they're going to talk to them. They just go out and do it, and it's too late for the Clintons to fucking do anything about it. But the problem is Clintons have people everywhere in every fucking jurisdiction for every fucking thing. So if there was someone that could testify, they'd know about it, and the person would get shut up before they even get a chance to do it.
And this is how it goes down. Going back to the whole Epstein thing. Let's say you're one of the Clintons or you're Bill Gates or whatever. You've got money, you've got ways to like whatever. And they like to blackmail. They're literally part of a blackmail operation, but they blackmail themselves. That's what this whole thing is. So it wouldn't be too terribly difficult to find somebody in the FBI that they got dirt on. Like, oh, Bill over here or Joe over here. Oh, you know, we know that you did this and cheated on your wife and you've got a kid with this person over in Asia and all that's a secret. Would really suck to have all that come out and your whole world be come crashing down on you. But
Right.
that doesn't have to happen. All you have to do is figure out a way to get in and delete those files where Bill or Bill, either one of the Bills, sex tapes there are deleted. You go delete those things, none of that stuff comes out. That
Right.
shit comes out, all this gets exposed, and And you know what, whatever. Like it's not that difficult. And the fact that that shit is being done, why does okay, let's say you're that FBI person that they've gone to. Why don't they just come out and say, I've recorded this whole fucking thing where they're basically threatening to expose all the, but they don't want to have their shit out, but just put it out there. Like, trust me, you will come out kind of like a piece of shit to some people, but a fucking hero to everybody else because you finally exposed this shit. Or let's go the other route. It's not real. She isn't behind all those murders. These people literally were went to his island but didn't do what's being accused. The only problem I have with that is then how in the fuck do you prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell for trafficking children to no one? Somebody had to have been purchasing these kids and their services, right?
No, no. She just set it up and sold, trafficked them, but to nobody though. Like nobody. That's why I don't
You see
understand how.
how ridiculous that is? Like
I know.
how do you prosecute her, find her guilty, and then put her in prison, but then nothing else comes of this? We're
Yeah,
just what you humans should be satisfied that we did this.
yeah. We got
But
justice. She's in
I don't
trouble.
give a fuck if Epstein is still alive. Let's say he didn't kill himself and he was the one on trial and they put him in jail for the same fucking thing. Okay, well, who in the fuck did he sell the massages to?
Right.
We
That.
know that there were underage girls. We know that they were doing things to people. Who are these people?
Yeah.
And
Well,
why aren't
no,
they in
nobody.
fucking jail? Why aren't they being arrested? I'm sorry, you've had plenty of fucking time to do your investigation. Of course, you've had, say, the Democrats in charge, and they weren't going to look into it, probably because most of them are on those lists.
And
But
they
I'm
probably
sure there's
deleted a lot of the fucking evidence too.
and that's a huge fucking problem. I bet you there, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there is anything that's prosecutable. So I think what they're trying to figure out as an administration right now is fuck, we've got this shit, but there's nothing there that we can even go after. So we release all this. We have names, and all it does is allows people to then sit here and speculate. Oh, Tom Hanks. Oh, Kevin Spacey. Oh, Bill Clinton. Oh, Bill Gates. So we're same thing we've been doing for fucking 8 years or whatever now. But there's nothing prosecutable. So and then I'm sure there's people that are like trying to make negotiations to be like remove me because I don't want to deal with the fucking backlash of just having been on a plane with him when I didn't do it. Like Dershowitz,
Right.
he's one of them that's like I didn't do anything. But yeah, I was on his plane and I was at his fucking house and it's like
I
it,
went there, but I didn't diddle the kids. I just hung out for the pizza. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, and it's weird. It's like okay, so let's just say you didn't diddle anybody, but you were there. You had to have seen something that seemed suspicious. Why didn't you say anything? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know,
I signed an
but how
NDA.
do you go after any of these people? Is my point. You really can't. You're basically fucked. And I think that's where the administration sits right now. They realize there's nobody they can actually go after. There is no actionable evidence that's still existence. Everything's been destroyed or deleted or whatever. And nothing will happen. And it'll just be another nothing burger. And I think Trump and his administration are looking at this saying, fuck, we promised we were going to release all this stuff and there would be something done, but there's nothing we can do. So how do we get out of this? And then you see like what happened yesterday with was it yesterday or no, it was Friday with Trump and Zelensky from Ukraine. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw that where they were Trump and Vance were giving Zelensky a spanking in the Oval Office, basically. I mean, so then you get those kinds of things to kind of take over the news cycle instead of all these people bitching about where's the Epstein shit, because there is nothing to release, in my opinion.
Right.
And I think they've got themselves in a hole and they don't know how to get out of it. It's, I don't know, dude. Like, I want to eat my words basically here. I want to
Yeah.
be wrong with this whole theory, but I don't think I am. I
No, because
don't
they've had
tend to be
plenty of
wrong
time.
on these
Like you
things.
said,
So,
they've had plenty of time to do something, and they haven't done anything with it.
yeah,
You
it's
know, I mean,
frustrating.
it's very frustrating. And not only that, but like look at the P Diddy shit. Like that, what the fuck's gonna go with that? Nothing.
Well, that's well, that's what's there's another interesting thing is that dude's attorney fucking quit as soon as the day Cash Patel got director of FBI. That guy's like, there's nothing I can do. I think P Diddy's fucked. The difference is he's been arrested. He's sitting in jail. Now you're just waiting for the trial to start. I think P Diddy's done. That's a big difference though. You have somebody in custody. You're not going to get anybody from this Epstein shit.
No, and I hope he fucking rolls over on all the other people that were involved in these fucking parties, so they all get in trouble.
Once again, it's got to be prosecutable evidence.
Right.
So we've got the ringleader, P. Diddy, kind of like we got the ringleader, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, she was the brains probably behind the whole Epstein operation. Epstein was just the fucking
He was the face of the name.
it was a tag team, let's be honest. I mean, so P. Diddy was the ringleader. He's the one that organized these parties, but who funded them? Because it wasn't him. I've heard all kinds of shit that it was somebody else was giving him the money to throw these kinds of parties because P. Diddy was doing a version of what Epstein and Maxwell were doing. These
Right.
were situations to blackmail people and control them.
Right.
So
I
who
think he was doing it
participated?
for his. I think he was doing it because I'm sure he was at Epstein's Island and learned from them, and he wanted the power and control they had, and that's why he was doing it. That's my guess. So he could have the power.
To some extent, but I do think you get to a certain level in that industry, entertainment industry, whatever, politicians, that kind of a thing, you can get this kind of influential power. And somebody comes to you and says, this is what we need you to do. Or you can go to jail right now for shooting up that club with J-Lo.
Right.
And so he says, okay, I'll do whatever. And then somebody says, all right, I'm going to give you all this money. You're going to get these people there. You're going to host these parties and you're going to get all of them on camera doing shit because we need to control these people. I don't think it's him. He's not the brains behind it, dude.
Maybe
P.
not.
Diddy is the Epstein in his own situation. There is somebody controlling P. Diddy above that we don't know of, and there's somebody that was controlling Epstein above that we don't know of. I guarantee you,
Probably. That makes more sense.
when you've looked into everything like I have, that's how it is. It goes higher than that. And when it comes to Epstein, all those rumors that he's working for the fucking Mossad and Israel and all that. Well, where are they in all this?
Right.
Could it be the reason, like the JFK shit? Remember, we talked about this not on Guys Who Still High Five, but prior,
Yeah.
that there's not a single person that's still alive that releasing all the JFK files would like affect. So if it's not that, then it's an organization. Well, would that organization be? It's not the mafia because the mafia is not really around anymore. It's the CIA.
Yeah.
So you would basically we can't release it. This is like the thinking prior to Trump doing an executive order where nothing actually gets done. But the thinking is, oh, it's an organization. So this is why it can't get released because we need to protect the organization, not necessarily the people that are being named, because the people that are being named, there is nobody still alive that it would matter, right? So we're protecting the organization.
Right.
Same thing with the Epstein stuff. Well, we can't release it because we're protecting the organization behind who funded Epstein's operation and probably who funded P. Diddy's operation. And you can release all this stuff, all this information, and at some point somebody's going to ask, okay, who funded it? Because while we're all sitting here bitching about Tom Hanks, Kevin Spacey, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, uh,
Weinstein, all of
who
them.
the fuck else, everyone that was on this thing, at some point we're going to get tired of talking about that, and somebody's going to say, well, who funded the whole thing? Because we now know it was a blackmail operation. That's come out because we released all this stuff. Well, who was funding the blackmail operation? Well, now it goes to fucking Israel and Mossad and probably the CIA.
Right.
Once
Because the
again,
CIA is everything.
we
CIA is
have to protect the organization. So this is why we can't. And let's be honest, I'll be critical of Trump here. He's a little soft on Israel. And I'm not one of these Pakistan Gaza Strip fucking flag waving supporters of that, because I honestly don't give a shit about Israel or Pakistan or their little fucking fight that they're having on the Gaza Strip. Could give two shits. Trump's a little soft on Israel, and that concerns me. And I think that's why you're not having anything come out with the fucking Epstein thing. And that's why I don't think you're going to have anything come out with the JFK stuff either. I think ultimately he's dug a hole. Either that or I guess I'm being impatient and I just need to sit back and relax. But what I see is he's a little soft on these countries. And if he puts out the Epstein stuff and it actually comes back and exposes that the Mossad and Israel's behind that operation, what does that do in terms of United States and Israel relations, right? Now you've got a fucking clusterfuck here. And should we be backing Israel? It almost at that point looks like we should make Israel an enemy of the United States because of what they were doing, which would then put us kind of on the side of Pakistan here and the whole Gaza Strip shit. It becomes this messy, cloudy thing where now it looks like what the Democrats were trying to support was the other side. You know what I mean? It gets real muddy real quick, and it's just easier if nothing comes out. It's just a lot easier if nothing comes out, right?
why is he so like soft on Israel, do you think?
Well, I believe his daughter and son-in-law are Jewish. I think Trump's had pictures where he's wearing the little thing on his head. I don't know what you call that thing, but um, I don't know if he's Jewish himself or what, but it's one of those things like, and then Israel's always been an ally of the United States,
Right.
and I think in terms of like world power in terms of wars and whatnot, you want Israel on your side maybe because they have decent military or something. I don't know. I don't. That's where you would almost need somebody. That's where I kind of like pump the brakes in terms of digging in. I'm don't dig in quite to that, but like he is soft on Israel, and yeah, he might be America first, but mm, he could also be well, Israel's right there with America. Israel and America first. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those. And it's like the other thing is, let's say Israel and Mossad is behind the whole Epstein thing. We know the CIA's doing the same shit. But if he wants to, you know, splinter the CIA into a million pieces like JFK said, and that's what Trump wants to do, it, it's kind of a fucked up situation because there's been people in the CIA and FBI saying if you defund either one of these organizations, these are people that work within there, not like top people, just people that work in these organizations saying if you defund it and I get fired or whatever, they're doing all these government cuts with the Department of Government Efficiency, that they will literally take the information that they know and go to another country and give them all that information. So you're basically saying we will commit treason if you don't. So you what you have is people throwing temper tantrums. If you don't give me what I want, then I'm gonna do this against you. Oh, so you're a child throwing a temper tantrum. So in other words, you don't give a shit about your country. You literally took this job and took an oath, but you're gonna be so then why don't we just literally fucking arrest all of them and then we'll figure it out later? Like, because to me, you're all pieces of shit at this point. Every single one of you. I used to say, oh, there's good people in each of these organizations. And there probably is, but maybe they all need to be arrested and so they can figure out and you figure out, well, who isn't a piece of shit and who is?
Right.
Because
Right.
there's a pretty fucking big problem here. If here's the other thing is how can you even say that? Like, oh, I've got this information, and if you don't fund us anymore, and I somehow lose my job, everything that I do know, I'm gonna go take to another. Well, that just saying that is committing treason.
Hmm.
You're literally trying to threaten or bribe your whatever. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know, why aren't they being arrested for that? Like to me, this seems actionable.
I think a lot of it is, and they just
But why aren't we doing
I,
anything?
maybe because they don't think it'll stick. I don't know. I don't know. It
You're
goes back.
threatening to take classified secret information and go disseminate that to a another country that is not necessarily on the same terms as us.
Ally. Yeah.
Russia, whoever, in China. I mean, think about any of these countries they go to. Those countries are going to pay these people for that information.
Oh, yeah, they are.
And when this happens, those people end up getting arrested and put in prison for espionage and all this shit. You have people outwardly saying, "I will do this if you do this." Okay, you don't need to have a fucking job anymore. You,
Right.
to
Right.
me, are somebody that can't be trusted with national secrets. So the best place for you is in prison. This way, it doesn't matter what we do in terms of funding or defunding. You're in fucking prison, and we're gonna still do what we're gonna do. Like the fact that these people are coming out and saying this shit is insane to me. Like if you're gonna do it, don't fucking say it. Don't put it on social media. And if you are, it's kind of like threatening the president on social media. Oh well, Joe got mad, so he just went on X and put in that he was gonna kill the president, but he's not actually gonna do it because he was just mad. Okay, but wasn't there a time where just saying it, whether you were mad or not, too fucking bad, you're going to
I
jail. You
thought it
need
was
to
illegal no
learn that
matter
you can't
what.
just say that shit?
Yeah, I thought for the president, I thought it was illegal no matter what.
Yeah,
Joking or not.
yeah. So what has happened with how shit's being handled? I just don't get it. It really feels it kind of gives me this uncomfortable like we elected this guy who we think's going to just fucking clean house, but what I'm kind of starting to see is that it's just it kind of feels like it's just gonna be another 4 years of what we had.
Mhm.
While the economy might turn around and while things, will be better in some respect, it kind of feels like there's too many shitty people in too many positions to essentially block anything and everything that really needs to get done, or they're just being too soft on a country, though they're an ally, whatever bullshit excuse you want to make up. Like, it just feels like there's shit's just not ever really gonna come to fruition of what we wanted. But keep in mind, it has only been 2 months.
Right. And that's the thing. Like you and I specifically are very much impatient as fuck.
Well,
And
because we've been looking into this shit for 8, 12 years. Like
I gotta say, a long fucking time.
Hillary, it's been fucking 20 something years. We've been waiting for something to happen there, and it's not. Epstein's more recent, but like everything. You get impatient at a certain point. It's like, okay, it'd be like right now if the O.J. Simpson trial was still going on. Would people still give a shit? We only have so long where we can have the public opinion stay on something because they have such short fucking attention spans.
Oh yeah.
You need this to happen while people are still thinking about it
Right.
and pushing the government to get it done. I just don't think they have, I don't honestly think they have the true power to get it done. I really don't anymore. I'm starting to doubt it. And now I kind of understand these people that's like, well, why vote? It's not going to matter.
Mm.
At
Yeah,
certain point,
I think especially because I mean Republicans have everything now. They've got the House, they've got the Senate, they've got the fucking everything.
there's literally no reason, nothing that should be stopping anything.
Right.
But
But
yet, here we sit
they are. Yeah,
2 months
exactly.
in, and I literally feel like nothing has fucking happened
No, but then
other
the
than
one
a bunch of executive orders that are empty.
and all of the Democrats and the ones that are super against Trump are fucking screaming high heaven that he's ruining our country and ruining the world, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
taking all of their rights. He's cutting welfare. He's cutting Social Security. He's cutting everything. He's not though. You know, I've got a client that is on Medicaid and Social Security and disability, and he believes that by the end of this month, March, he's not going to have any benefits of anything because Trump's getting rid of all of his rights. And I'm like, I've never heard anything about that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want you to be on welfare forever. That's a fucking very good reason or a good thing to be. There's no reason why you should be living off the government for your entire life. You're fucking, what is he, 28? Get
Yeah.
a fucking job. Your disability is anxiety. I get it's crippling and you're terrible and you can't you hate going out in public, but get a fucking remote job then. Work from home.
I'm actually surprised that you're able to get it at such a young age. PTSD, whatever, anxiety. I'm surprised you can get it that young of an age to the point where like, yeah, we're just going to pay for you to sit and not do
Yeah.
anything, essentially. And it's like, and then I'm sorry, but there is a certain point where you have to kind of question, like, do you really have this level of crippling anxiety that you cannot function? Or is it that you just found a loophole and you're using it to not do anything and
Mhm.
contribute to society? Because
It's
I
more
think
than for
that's
that.
you know what I mean? Like you would we all know people that are clearly capable of doing things that are um just using and abusing the system so they don't have to contribute to society.
Yep.
We know these people. One's very close.
Yeah.
So, and it
I'm
infuriates me.
closer. I'm closer to that person than you are right now, technically.
Yeah, and unfortunately for you, well, both of us, we don't have any contact, but
Mhm.
it's still infuriating when you know that somebody is just basically found a loophole and using it and abusing it.
Mhm.
And but what can you do? Like, uh,
Nothing,
these programs shouldn't exist for shit like that. But how do you fucking prove it? How do you, the system has gotten so fucked up. You literally need to go back and literally start over with everything. Like we are going to wipe the slate clean, and starting on X day, we are now new country, and we are starting over, new rules, new laws, new everything, and it's going to be the way it should have been or was meant to be. You know.
Right.
I don't think we were supposed to be this fucked up.
No, I don't think so either.
This was a, what do they say? Like empires always make it what, like 200-300 years, and then they come crashing down and a new one begins. We're like beyond that point, I think, with this country. So like it's time or something. It just I don't know. Maybe things will start happening. It just seems like there's a whole lot of nothing burgers. And it's frustrating because I think everybody's expectation was it's going to be fast, it's going to be a lot, and even Trump said it will be, like when he was doing those executive orders on like day one, two, three, four, and five, he's like, it's going to be at this speed the entire 4 years. We are just going to be hammering shit out, yada, yada, yada. And I'm sure, I'm not going to sit here and say nothing's happening. Clearly, the border guy is doing his shit, deporting people and all this, catching them and all this. And they've got tons of people fighting against that, telling the illegals, hey, they're coming here, get out of this area, leaking information. Well, why aren't you going after these people leaking the fucking information? I want to see these perp walks. I want to see all these people get arrested. I think you start arresting these people and putting it on fucking TV, showing everybody that they're getting arrested for doing this, it will stop.
Hmm.
Let's be honest, nobody wants to go to jail.
Right.
It's just they're these people that are kind of like doing this shit are thinking, well, fuck, nothing ever happens. So why wouldn't I keep, fighting
Right.
for my
Oh, yeah.
beliefs or whatever? Although if you go to jail because you're exposing information that you shouldn't be exposing, you're kind of going against this current government. Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It, I just feel like there's should be more. The whole Epstein thing, JFK thing, those things frustrate me because I get the feeling your executive order means nothing.
Yeah.
And and then you release shit that's already been released. You redact the shit that's already been released and redacted. It doesn't make sense. I would have just not fucking released anything
Yeah. What's the point?
and
Yeah.
came out and said, "Hey, the FBI is fucking deleting shit. We're trying to get it under control. And once we get what we can get, that's when we'll release it. But right now, there's no release. Rather than release that, it's like it really makes them look like fools and like they don't really have control of the organizations or the country and these things that they claim to, you know?
Right. And that's what I don't get it. I don't understand it,
I don't
because
either.
there's so many things that we're expecting and want and we hoped for with Trump, like what he said he was going to do, and I'm not seeing much of anything.
Well, if you had an executive order on day two saying, all right, we're releasing all the JFK files. Well, that was 2 months ago. Where the fuck are the JFK files then?
Right. Right.
I mean, all you have to do is release them. Like, is there really a process that needs to happen? You're releasing everything.
Then there should be nothing because there's no redacting because
What's
you're going to be
taking
releasing
so
everything.
long? It's like it shouldn't take this long because when he released stuff in his first fucking term, it didn't take this long.
Right.
I'm doing an executive order releasing, there's 2,000 pages, we're releasing 1,500 of them. And then the next day, the shit was out there. So we know it can be done. So why is it 2 months later and we haven't seen anything? It's like,
Well, that's
who's it implicating that we're protecting still, basically?
look at all the fucking drones and all that shit. How he was going to come out. Oh, I'm going to get to the bottom of the drones and we're going to
Yeah.
fucking figure it out.
And that was radio silence. Yeah, we don't. So once
No one
again,
heard of them. No, they haven't seen them. They haven't heard about them. They just stopped.
it will, and what is that? That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so it must implicate someone or something that that's on their side or whatever that they're protecting. So let's say I don't even know, but like let's just say once it's Israel. He's soft on Israel. Israel's behind all those drones. He becomes president. He's now been read into these things because he has the, classification again. He can be. And, prior to that, oh, we're going to release all this information on that. He finds out, oh, it's Israel and they're doing this. Um, and he's like, well, fuck, I can't say anything about that because, for whatever reason. So we'll just not talk about it anymore. It's like, okay, then that's literally what every single fucking other administration has ever done.
Right.
You want to talk about being transparent. I don't give a fuck if it implicates Israel or the CIA or whatever. Put it out there. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, because he ran his platform on we need to be able to trust the government again.
He still says we are the most transparent administration in history. Okay, then fucking prove it.
Right. Do it then.
Sorry, you're not going to hear me go against Trump very often, but right now, not happy.
Hmm.
I'm a what you would call a disgruntled citizen. I'm not as disgruntled as during Biden's 4 years, and I do think we're a little better off than if fucking Kamala was in there. But at a certain point, you start losing faith in what you're being told, and you realize it's just more of the same. Got it. As long as
Right.
the price of food goes down and the gas gets cheaper, I guess it is what it is. But I think that's where they want us to get.
Hmm.
Forget about the Epstein stuff. Forget about the JFK stuff. We're going to try and lower egg prices and we're going to try and lower gas prices. And then you'll just be a happy fucking stupid ass citizen.
Yep.
And the economy will try, hey, we're saving you all this money. We're going to send you a $5,000 Doge check. You'll go out and you'll spend that and everything will be hunky dory for 4 years. And then we'll go back to the same old bullshit with Democrats and they'll fuck everything up again.
Is that Doge
We'll
check
still
actually
not
happening?
have, what's that?
Is the Doge check actually happening?
I don't know, they're talking about it. It'll
Yeah.
happen. I guarantee it'll happen. I just don't know what the amount will be. But they'll definitely do something because that is a boost that will boost the economy. And Trump is all about boosting the economy and the stock market and all that. Of course, you will get a fucking check at some point, unless we end up in a fucking world war or something. But like, which isn't off the table. But um, I do think there will be a check. I just don't know what it'll be
Yeah.
in terms of the amount, but it'll be something. And
Cool.
it'll probably be a year before we get it, but it'll be something. Anyways, we'll see. I don't know. I think it's just frustrating. I want shit to happen like they say it's gonna happen, and it doesn't seem like it's happening. And I'm trying to be patient, but the
It's hard.
frustration's getting to the point where like I can't just sit back and be like, "Oh, yeah, you gotta trust the plan." I don't trust the fucking plan. I want to see the plan in fucking action.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
not trusting.
I'd like to just see the plan so I can trust it.
Oh, there's a plan.
Well,
You
I
can't see
get that.
it. You can't see
What?
the plan. You just gotta trust it.
No, see, that's the thing is I want to see the plan. So that way I can be like, oh, okay, cool. So on May 13th, this is when everything will come to light, and on May
Well,
14th is when they're gonna fucking arrest people. Okay, cool. Then I
let,
know.
let, let me let me go against why you will never see the plan. Even if there is a plan, let's go. Let me explain why you will never see that.
I
Because,
already know to see it.
huh?
We already know why we're never gonna see it, but go ahead.
Well, to be fair, if you were doing an operation like this, giant operation where you got to go mass arrest half of fucking Hollywood and half the fucking politicians and half the fucking world leaders, are you going to tell everybody the date that you're going to do it? No, you're not going to. And I understand all this. Uh, But I do wonder, is there like, I guess when you think about it like that, would you even say that, hey, the reason we can't release all this stuff is because we're getting everything ready to do mass arrests. You wouldn't even say that publicly because that gives the enemy
Yeah.
all the information that they need to go fucking hide. So what you want, and maybe this is like let me play devil's advocate and then we'll be done with this episode. But maybe you do release fucking redacted information that's already been released and make it seem like you don't have control over your own organization. You don't have control over anything as almost like a rope a dope to make the people that are guilty thinking, fuck, we're good. We ain't got to worry about shit, which makes it easier to then mass arrest them.
Yeah, get their
I don't
guard
know. But the
down.
problem with that theory it feels a lot like Q. And what I don't like about Q is that it was all this shit and then nothing fucking happened. And it feels like it's just a fucking giant lie and a bunch
Giant
of hokey
psyop.
bullshit. And I don't like that. So that's where my issue with that theory, while I hope that's what it is, I have problems with it because of that, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because of the previous term. So I don't know. Well, anyways, that was in the news and conspiracy corner. We'll skip what you're watching this week,
Yeah.
and I think we're at time. I can't
I think,
fathom we're not, but
I think we're over, but that's fine.
all right. So, um, good talk.
Yeah.
Uh, that will do it for this episode. Social medias, real quick.
Yeah. Do the social.
Let me do the Doge. Gmail, you can email us, guys who still high number five at gmail.com. Go over to Patreon, patreon.com/slash guys who still high five, all spelled out. And you'll get like, extra stuff there. You can watch or listen on YouTube, youtube.com/, at the little at symbol, guys who still high five, all spelled out. Follow us on Instagram, guys who still high number five. TikTok, guys who still high five, all spelled out. And on X, you can follow us at guys still high five, number five. It's the number five. No who. And that's our social medias.
Yeah.
So
Once we got out of the Who, we dropped the Who for Max.
that's right. Yep. So that'll do it.
And if you're confused on the guys who's still high five, all spelled out, look at Ryan's hat. There you
Yeah,
are.
literally advertised the entire episode.
Yep.
Um, yeah, Dave will have one of these soon. He'll get to wear.
Yeah.
I just have to ship it. And in a upcoming rant, you'll get to hear me bitch about the post office
Yeah.
where I'm at. So
No.
it's terrible. So, anyways, until next time,
Yeah.
right on.